outside with anybody, and if they're black friends or they're Hispanic friends, they would stop and say something. Hey!
Coming up in Cristina's court.
I'm not calling him a liar or anything.
Yeah, you are.
Earlier he stated that I backed
You
up.
are, you understand that.
You got 25 yards there.
I didn't think you were stupid enough to do it.
In a special Cristina's court, Bad Night at Woodforest. Lloyd Sams, for the first time, gets to question his tormentors.
Okay, so let's continue with that.
What I remember was somebody, I don't know, I think it was my friend Jake, was still walking as he was walking away. And I was like, come on, let's go get Jake. He eventually stopped in a driveway. I didn't know that was his house. I thought he was turning around to fight my friend Jake. So I zoom in the driveway, and about that time, he hops on the hood of the car.
He hopped on the hood of the car?
He jumped on the hood of the car. Well, I pulled in the driveway where Lloyd was standing. About that time, Lloyd hopped on the hood of the car and then hopped off and took off.
As soon as we reached the driveway, slammed on the brakes, Lloyd Sams jumped on the hood to avoid getting hit. After he jumped on the car, we reversed out of the driveway. I don't know if he stumbled off, like he said, or he jumped off.
He never fell to the ground. He leaped on the hood. The car was, I mean, this high off the ground.
My medical records show something else, Your Honor.
What are the extent of your injuries from that?
Actually, the medical report shows that I have a stress fracture or some type of fracture in my lower lumbar. My left knee has several fractures in it as well to this day. I mean,
do you believe that happened from that night?
I believe that the injuries were prior before all that.
How do you know that?
I don't know it. I'm not calling him a liar or anything. Earlier he stated.
You are.
Earlier he stated that I backed
you
up
you
20 to 25, 25 feet down the street. If I see a car that's backed up 20, 25 feet and punches is coming directly at me, you know, you got 25 yards there. You can get out of the way. You can run up into your driveway.
I didn't think you were stupid enough to do it.
Kyle,
I really
here's
didn't
the
think
thing.
you were stupid enough to do it.
Why are you mad at him?
I'm not mad at him at all. I'm not at all. I'm just I'm trying to put this stuff behind me. But the thing is I don't like to be set here and perceived as a liar and as a racist person for something that I've done one time, and I didn't have the money that a lot of the families did. Everybody else was bonded out. I spent my whole court term, it was like 6 or 7 months I spent in the county. You know, didn't have a lawyer, didn't have, you know, no help. I pled guilty because from the get-go, all I was offered was 25 to life. I went back to the party and went back up into the house like nothing ever happened, like everything was normal.
I saw Lloyd digress into moments of solitude, unacceptance, feeling unworthy of himself because of what happened.
A month and a half later, I was arrested for it.
When Cristina's court returns.
My husband and I watched the tape and we debated about turning it in, and eventually he had to kind of talk me into it just because it scared me to do that.
If you'd like to contact Cristina's court, call toll-free 1-800-901-7039 or log on to Cristina'sCourt.com. In a special Cristina's court, Bad Night at Woodforest. Lloyd Sams, for the first time, gets to question his tormentors.
How did it get to the point where they were accused?
Well, the mystery video, the magic video that Josh's stepfather turned over to authorities, which linked the vandalism in the neighborhood with this racial hate crime.
Why did your stepfather give in the tapes? To teach you a lesson?
Teach me a lesson, yes, and it did.
Get up, Mr. Sams.
What you haven't been told is that Joshua's mother and Bill, his stepfather, we were all members of the same church.
Really? You want to get up, ma'am?
After the incident, Bill came over to the house. He apologized for this incident. And I could see he was really hurting. I think that is what caused him to turn in this tape.
What did you do when you found out about these tapes?
It disturbed me so severely I couldn't watch it. I was just in tears.
What did you feel like a mother to see this?
I just felt like a failure. I was like, he was not raised like this. We don't believe in that. We don't act like that. And it really upset me, really
What do you think
upset me.
happened to him? Why was he so angry?
I'm not making any excuses for it. There are no excuses. But his dad and I divorced, and I think that deeply devastated him. And his best friend was killed, and they were like totally best friends, did everything together. And Josh is really usually not an emotional person. He holds his feelings in.
I can tell.
He held it in for so long. After that, he started going downhill. My husband and I watched the tape, and we debated about turning it in. And eventually, he had to kind of talk me into it just because it scared me to do that. But I knew he was out of control. He's gone through everything he's supposed to go through, and he has totally turned his life around. I'm so proud of him now.
What did you know of Kyle?
I did not know Kyle. One of my friends told me that Josh should not be running with him, that he had been in trouble before.
How does that make you feel that a parent said that?
I have a problem keeping my mouth shut, and
Really?
it just made me feel. It made me feel like, until this day, there's still a lot of parents.
Are you close with your dad?
No, he beat my mom up. Up till I was about 6. She finally got up and left him. I don't associate with much of my family anymore. My family at certain points are, very dysfunctional. It's sometimes, my brothers, they don't learn. Me, I learned a lesson. My brothers, it's in, out, all the time. And,
Jail?
and I just feel that they're gonna, bring me down.
I don't think that it's really race. I think that there are programs for everybody. There are programs for the blacks, there are programs for the browns, there are programs for everybody. But there are a lot of alienated, disaffectioned young people, white, who don't have these programs. And these young people are hurting. And the only way it comes to anybody's attention is when they do something like shows on the video. I think I have hope. That's the type of person I am for both of these young men. And I want to talk to you one-on-one when this is over.
I think Kyle needs somebody to be proud of him.
Yes, yes.
I totally did not have any animosity for the first time since the incident. The reason they did not give him 25 years to life, because the DA came to me with 30 years to life. He says, "What do you think, Mr. Sams?" I pled. The DA did not want to accept that plea. I pled for you. I did that. I am also the same person who brought us to this point because I believe in healing, and I believe in forgiveness, and I believe in redemption. I also see a great opportunity here, Your Honor. If Josh Wayne Guthrie and Kyle Allard are willing to speak to other youth about this incident, that I would do whatever I can to relieve them of their community service hours. But I believe that this story beyond these airwaves and this broadcast needs to be shared. It needs to be told in schools, in homes, and in jails and juvenile systems across America, because this is not a race thing. It's a hurt thing. It's a pain thing. It's a human element of fear. And I think when humans are fearful, they make mistakes. And that's why we're here, because I want to offer these two gentlemen, these two men now, redemption, so that we can go forward.
Let's do it, baby. We can make history, you know that, right?
All three of these young men dared to risk something here today. Lloyd risked not finding closure. Josh and Kyle knew they risked scorn and ridicule, but they told us they wanted to make things right. We thank them for that. See you in court.
I could invite you to come by the house anytime. Now it takes on your part. If I know what you